All right.
Make it serious here now.
The regular meeting of Tuesday, October 15th, 2024 to order. Stand for the allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Douglas.
Here.
Ms. Hayes.
Here.
Mr. Horvath.
Here.
Mrs. Sensi.
Here.
And Mr. Thompson.
Here.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Aye. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Thompson.
Here.
Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes.
Ms. Hayes.
Yes.
And Mrs. Sensi.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of September 17th, 2024.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes.
Ms. Hayes.
Yes.
And Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Is there anyone wishing to give a board member report this evening?
Just to bring attention to the cover of our meeting today, it looks like it's labeled spooky. It's titled Spooky, and it says, is that Malaya?
Yeah.
Malaya Thompson, who is at Madison Middle School, and she did a wonderful job here.
Spooky. It is
Yep.
spooky.
It is spooky. Okay, that's all.
All right. So just briefly, the agenda later, you will see a approval for an agreement between the schools and Educational Services Center of the Western Reserve. This is an agreement for the ESC to assist us with our superintendent search. And they'll be doing a variety of things for us, including holding stakeholder group meetings where they can receive input from the various stakeholder groups. Just a few of those to name are the parents, seniors, staff members, and they'll conduct those meetings and gather input, and then they will assist us in advertising the position, assist us throughout the interviewing, and then eventually we will hire a superintendent. Yes,
Did we determine we wanted there was two focus groups?
thought we did.
I didn't know that we did.
Uh-huh.
I was just asked that in the meeting, but I didn't know if we were going to do that.
All right.
I'm just curious.
Okay. So we'll get to that a little bit later. Dan, did you want to say anything about that, or you want to wait till we get closer? All right, sounds good. All right, we don't have anyone registered for public participation. I have reports and recommendations of the treasurer.
Thank you, Mr. Douglas. First off, I would like to recommend the approval of the September 2024 financial reports as listed.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Mrs. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes.
And Ms. Hayes.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, I'd like to recommend the approval of the 3 then and now statements for October 2024.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Horvath.
Yes.
Mrs. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes.
And Ms. Hayes.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next, I would like to recommend the approval of the following donation. A generous donation of flowers from Sabo's Nursery to Madison Middle School to be used for their outdoor classroom. A generous donation of $150 from Zulant Veterinary Associates to Madison High School Model UN to be used for a class trip. A generous donation of $500 from Bluestone Perennials Incorporated to Madison High School Model UN to be used for a class trip. A generous donation of school supplies from Beals to South Elementary School to be used as needed. A generous donation of $5,000 from Madison Booster Club to Madison High School to be used for scoreboard. A generous donation of $500 from Madison Family Restaurant to North Elementary School to be used for their streak account. A generous donation of $500 from Madison Family Restaurant to Madison Middle School to be used as needed. A generous donation of $500 from Madison Family Restaurant South Elementary School to be used as needed. A generous donation of $500 from Madison Family Restaurant to Madison High School to be used for senior fees. A generous donation of $200 from Madison Garden Club to Madison High School Ecology Department to be used as needed. A generous donation of $1,600 from the Buser Family Foundation to Madison High Service Learning to be used for program operating expenses and the Bird and Biodiversity Day. And a generous donation of school supplies from Mark and Krista Snell to South Elementary School to be used as needed.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I just have a question. What's this, bird and biodiversity date? Any,
I don't know. I will have to find that out.
yeah, I'd be curious, a little bit more information about that.
Yeah, last year, I think it was in early October, so it might have passed already, but I will find out. They usually invite me, so.
And what do they usually do? I mean,
They, look at the pattern of birds, they look at the impact of birds on the, ecosystem and those kinds of things. There were all sorts of activities last year with it.
that's cool. It sounds pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing. They do
Yeah,
some
that's
pretty
just
cool things.
awesome.
I think it's amazing the amount of donations. I mean, every month is, we have a significant amount of donations, but this is a lot of money and a lot of, yeah, it's wonderful. So thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Horvath,
Yes.
Ms. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
and Ms. Hayes.
Yes.
Motion passed. And that concludes my treasurer's report.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reports to the administrative team.
As we have shared, we are going to recognize another MEA member of the month. And, Gretchen had thought she was going to be here tonight, but her son is being inducted into National Honor Society at Riverside tonight. And she said, I'm torn. I said, no, you're not. You go to National Honor Society induction. And Margie will just fine again. She is, sharp up those public speaking skills, aren't you?
Should I go ahead?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
So, I, once again, this month get to award member of the month. And this month it is going to be to Betsy Keller. Betsy, and this is just a few of the words that were written about her. Betsy has a gift with young children and shares that gift with the youngest members of our community. It helps children develop a joy for learning and school while helping them build confidence. Betsy is an amazing colleague who goes out of the way to support those she works with. She's always happy to lend a hand, offer or provide support. Her smile lights up a room and brings happiness to those around her. Betsy is a dedicated member of our Madison teaching staff, and I am honored to present her with Member of the Month award. And she also received a certificate.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I have a few things to say about Betsy. Obviously. I know Betsy a very, very long time. And Betsy's passion for what she does is just amazing. I mean, she takes these kids and she just does amazing things with them. They come in, some of them, because she's an intervention specialist, so she meets them where they're at and she gets them to grow. Personally, two of my grandchildren have had interactions with her and she has, embraced them. Layla since she was wee little, and Ashton loves to come into her room and, I'm here, Miss Betsy. And she helped to shape him into who he is on his special days when he gets to sit and gives advice. But her success is in her knowledge of those small children and, to watch her work routines and to watch her get kids to listen and the joy and the fun in which she brings each and every day. It's been a gift to work with her all these years. You know, there was one time she called me the money person.
The what?
She called me just the money person because I had to a long time ago when we were making cuts. It was not. And you're just the money person. And I laugh at it because, I mean, she knows how much I care about the kids in this district and, you know, we have, and I have watched her own kids grow up and her son made 2 weeks ago. And, you know, I watched him go through so many programs and he was in robotics and doing amazing things. And it's just, you know, I can't say enough about Madison, really the atmosphere, and she's one of the reasons why. We're blessed.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. You all should have gotten your emails about Capital Conference. If you're, that have been, that are registered. And to remind, Jeff is the legislative.
Oh, Jeff is?
Yes,
Okay.
you're the backups. That, in January, you voted on these
Oh,
things. And I
So in
went.
other words,
through
you're
it.
really tired that morning. It goes to him. You just ring his room.
So he will go to the, you know, that assembly, they set their legislative agenda. Michelle has the fun job of doing student achievement fair.
It is,
again. So,
I do have the best one.
you know, but it will be, I think, different and always a good opportunity to learn about various things, as well as, you know, bond as a group. So.
I'm looking forward to hearing Boomer Esiason is the main speaker.
Where my
Who?
stuff should-
Boomer Esiason, he was the Cincinnati quarterback for many years.
Yes, he was. He was.
He was,
So,
Huh.
yeah.
we can't really talk about that. But that is next month. And then the following week, we do have a meeting. It is not the Tuesday before Thanksgiving because that is the fourth Tuesday. Remember, our board meetings are on the third Tuesday. I want to recognize the success of our fall sports. Football has a big game this week against Geneva. You know, that's a winner takes all kind of moment. Geneva is, I think, 7-1, and we are 6-2. So if we beat them, we all their playoff points, and we'll see what happens. Boys and girls soccer have finished up their regular season and both earned the title for the Lake Division. The boys were playing who tonight, Brian?
The one Morrison. I think it
Okay.
was.
In a sectional final, and it looked as if they were going to be winning. The girls won their first game against Chardon, so they will both move on to the second round games. District cross country is here in Madison on Saturday morning. As always, it's multiple districts from all over Northeast Ohio, so it's a great day. I want to point out the picture on the wall in the middle of Jeff Greer's "I'll Take It From Here" picture was done shortly after 9/11. And his wife, and I'm going to put it in the community update on Friday, they are raising money to take that picture and have a mural in his hometown of Coshocton, you know, on one of the building walls, painted. And so they are raising funds to do that. And I know there's a lot of people that knew Jeff in this community, and he was very influential. And it would be great to see his work there. And I think they also are trying to get his work. Mr. Brady told us at our administrative meeting in Montana last night, I think it was. They've got somebody interested in that to do a painting there. That painting is in the Pentagon, and I have a copy of it at the 9/11 exhibit at the World Trade Center, or World, you know, where the World Trade Center was, the Tower Memorial. So keeps his memory alive and awards a scholarship every year in Jeff's memory. So I will be sending out information to the community to see if we can help support that from Madison. 9 is a bill about tech privacy. And it was one of those things that the lame duck legislature enacted before they went on recess. And I Filled you in a little bit about that on, in the news at the end of last week. There will be some things that will change in this bill, but not before it has to be enacted on October 24th. We don't even have the policy from Neola yet because they're, looking at what it means and what the changes are. But we still have to, not having the policy doesn't mean we don't have to enact the law. And so there are things that have to notify parents, within a 72-hour notice of if they're doing things during school on the computer that takes them away from their curriculum. It's just a matter, we're trying to get legal opinions because some people say you could be walking around and that would trigger a notice. In a meeting I was at last week, they said, no, you actually would have to see it or it would have to be in alerts. So it's ever changing. So before I send up all sorts of red flags, it'll probably be a separate community update once we get final guidance from all the various organizations and our attorney involved. But I wanted to, remind you. Chickenpox, I think, knock on wood, and Bob's here tonight, so he might be able to say that it's, we're through the worst of it. I haven't heard about chickenpox since the end of early last week.
Right.
So,
Let's keep it.
yeah, so we may have, it may have run its course, so. And to that end, we did, also have a flu shot clinic for our staff yesterday.
So what?
A flu shot clinic.
Oh,
So at least we can keep people well. And so that goes with some of my work that we're doing this year with the focus on a student attendance. We also are going to recognize monthly our staff attendance. And for the month of September, we had 107 employees that had perfect attendance. So we're going to give them a coupon for DQ trade, a little tag that talks about perfect attendance for the month that they have it. And then we'll track it. And if there's staff members with perfect attendance all year, we'll do something at the end of the year to celebrate that. So, because we're saying it's important enough that we want kids to be in school. And if you miss 2 days a month, you are considered absent under the state definition. Kids can't look, their teachers aren't here because we know substitutes are never the best replacement for our teachers. And we know things happen and that's understandable, but we're encouraging that, good attendance. Dave?
Okay, I just have one item to report this evening. Last Wednesday, I was able to attend a meeting at Lubrizol in Wickliffe with their Partners in Science program. They work with members of different schools, Lake Geauga and Ashtabula County. And partnership, they offer grants. And so this event in Wickliffe was recognizing a number of teachers from around these three counties for some of the work that they did and using the grant funds that they received. And so it was interesting to hear what different people are doing in different school districts. And the last group to be recognized was 3 of our teachers from our middle school, Chrissy Bilbeck, Liz Nainiger, and Melissa Kolaric, who, as you've heard, received, were awarded a greenhouse valued at about $10,000 for their ecology work at our middle school and the agricultural things that are happening there now, kind of like what we're seeing at the high school as well. So, and I know that they, in thinking about what kind of work they wanted to grant, they wrote, they kind of considered some of the, the agricultural things that are here in our community. And so we're providing that experience in schools. And there's some really cool things happening. And it was exciting to see them. It was a moment of pride for our district to see them, recognized for the award. And it was really interesting too to hear a little bit about some of the things that Lubrizol does that I have lived, around the corner for my whole life and didn't realize what a global presence they have. So it's cool. Congratulations to that team.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, and it should be in before the supplies so that they can be ready for 2019. That'll be good. That's great.
And they do have a little farm stand, if you haven't seen it, at the
I
middle
have
school, and you
seen
can
it,
even
yeah.
Venmo and buy things. And I believe the salsa is pretty good.
I've not seen it at the middle school. I only saw the one Gabe stand at the high school.
Well, they moved it to the front. Unfortunately, people were taking and not,
The honor system.
the the honor system.
But
wasn't
it's,
working.
it's along the sidewalk near the front doors.
They
And
moved it up
yeah.
front.
there's always a variety of things in it.
Isn't that a shame?
That stand they have over at the high school, especially after the football game, that is cool. They had apple fritters the other night. I've had them twice
Yeah.
now, and they're so
Wait a minute,
delicious.
they're making their own
Yeah,
apple fritters?
yeah, I mean, it was
Wow.
like $5 for this big thing of apple fritters, and they were just, oh, well, I wish we had more home football games. You know, they were so delicious.
They are.
I don't know how much they cost to make, but they were delicious.
Okay, so I wanted to say a little bit about Betsy as well. Because I think it's wonderful, very well deserved. I can speak, this is my 5th year in my position, and Betsy has always been amazing in the terms of a team play. I know she's a whisperer of children, and I always say it's like herding cats in pre-K. So but as far as a professional and the way that she always is able to help and offer help and to really come up with great ideas, it is have been very, very helpful to me. And I think that this is fantastic. In terms of what we're doing in our special ed work, we had our internal monitoring team meeting, and we have those quarterly. So it was our kickoff meeting, and this year we are doing something a little bit different. Instead of having just intervention specialists and those who work with special ed, we also wanted to incorporate teachers and the principals, just so that everybody kind of has an idea of what is happening and the work that we need to do and the things and projects that we're working on. And so that was really, and there are a lot of things that have, you know, with the special education population kind of growing and becoming more needy, I always like to kind of think of good things. And so we shared gratitude the other day in our meeting. And Jovette had a great story from pre-K. And there are good things going on in our district and in the, especially the special ed classrooms and the kids that have a lot of high needs that, you know, they're sometimes the toughest to love, but need the most. And so one of our pre-K teachers is working with a little guy, and he was singing to him. And so that's how he was kind of instructing him. And, you know, it's just little things that all of our teachers kind of bring in different ways, really has an impact. And I think that makes Madison special. So very gracious, very, very happy that we have the team that we do. That's it.
Thank you.
Ready for the recommendations? All right, we are entering into the following employment contracts. Accept the resignation of Rachel Hicks, new nutrition services cashier at North Elementary, effective September 23rd, 24. To accept with regret the retirement resignation of Greg Clark, middle school science teacher, effective at the end of the 24-25 school year, after 33 years of service to the district. To employ the persons for the positions at rate and compensation and other condition employment as listed below. To employ Jacqueline Rhodey under a 2-year contract as a guidance counselor, effective January 6, 2025 to June 2nd, 2025. Employ Scott Hybar as a custodian at Madison High School. The following non-certificated under a 1-year limited personal service contract for Susan Martin, Madison High School head swim coach, and Amy Tanner, Madison High School assistant swim coach. Each of the following substitutes is approved by the Educational Service Center and or the Madison Local School District's assistant superintendent under a 1-year limited substitute teacher contract. Beginning with Elizabeth Hayes and ending with James Vanderpool.
The following two people as casual day-to-day substitutes, Alicia Kitchen and Amanda Spradlin. And then we're asking you to approve transfers, Connie Buchanan from a 6.5-hour pre-K special needs assistant to a 6.5-hour position as special needs assistant at North Elementary, effective September 24th, 2024, to transfer Patel from a half-day special needs assistant at Madison Pre-K to a 6.5-hour position as special needs assistant at Madison Pre-K effective October 2nd, 2024. Transfer Daniel Croyle from a 3-hour educational assistant playground at South to a 6.5 position as a 101 special needs assistant at South Elementary effective October 15th, 2024. And that's the personnel. motion.
I'll move.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Horvath,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
and Ms. Hayes. Motion passes.
Okay, we have the second, our memorandum of understanding so that we can be compliant. And the auditors don't flag us, but to move the monthly premium from 288.37 to 288.36 with the OPSI contract.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Horvath,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay. And we have the Madison Library Board of Trustees asking you to reappoint Katie Yearly as member of the Madison Public Library Board of Trustees effective January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2032.
I'll move.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll just be really old then.
I was gonna say long term.
Yeah, there's 7-year terms at the library.
Dang. Good for you, Katie.
Roll call?
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Horvath,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
motion passes.
And then next is a motion declaring Red Ribbon Week. And that is October 23rd through the 31st. And it's where we celebrate the commitment to a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. And Officer Caswell and the SROs do many different things about that week.
I'll move. Oh,
Second.
okay.
Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Horvath,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas, Ms. Hayes. Motion passes.
And we have a very lengthy consent calendar tonight, so we're asking you to approve the Washington DC trip scheduled for 18th through the 17th for Madison Middle School students in the amount of $490 per student, and that is not, the board does not pay for any of these trips, they're all student. To approve a trip to Niagara Falls scheduled for May 16th, 2025 for middle school students in the amount of $210 per student. To approve a trip to Chicago, Illinois by Madison High School Model UN to attend the 21st Annual Chicago International Model UN on December 5th through the 8th at a cost of $250 per student, and they do fundraising for that. To enter into a consultant services contract because the local schools in Mary Ellen Fester to provide trauma behavioral specialist services for the 2024 school year at a cost not to exceed $20,000. To approve an addendum to the Aligned Services School District Agreement between the Educational Service Center of the Western Reserve and Madison local schools to provide an additional 20 days of gifted services. To approve an addendum to the Aligned Services District Agreement between the Educational Service Center of the Western Reserve and Madison local schools to provide 2.5 one-to-one aides assigned to students enrolled at Broadmoor. And then to approve a contract with the Educational Service Center of the Western Reserve to serve as a resource to the Board of Education during the superintendent selection process and to provide support to the new superintendent for the first 12 months of service as per the agreement found on file.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mr. Wilson, would you like to say a few words about the ESC?
We're very pleased to offer this to you. We've had experience in doing superintendent and treasurer searches And we believe our process will result in being a qualified successor to Angela. So we're pleased and so far everything's on track.
Thank you. We did use the ESC when we conducted our treasurer search. Mr. Wilson helped us do that. That was when we hired Ms. Palm. And that seems to have worked out quite well. So roll call.
Ms. Horvath,
Yes.
Mrs. Sensi,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
Ms. Hayes. Motion passes.
So we do have a need for executive session tonight. Do we have a motion to move into executive session for the purposes of the appointment or employment of public employees or regulated individuals?
Almost.
We will not be conducting this when we return from executive session. We'll simply be adjourning. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Sensi.
Yes.
Mr. Horvath,
Yes.
Mr. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Douglas.
Yes.
Motion